and it let out this blood-curdling, guttural scream.
On the side of the road, he sees a deer carcass and something eating on it, which he thought was a bear. And as the lights hit it, it stood up. And, like, this gives me chills talking about it. He said it stood up and it had the face of a man.
All right, we're back. Let's give this a try again. I'm going to go ahead and bring John Stewart in right now. He's our primary guest. We need to make sure he's okay, and then we'll take it from there. I see we're up on YouTube.
How's it going, Brian?
Fantastic. I can hear you. See that? I don't think it's all me. I think it's this crazy StreamYard platform. All right,
Yeah,
I'm going to check
it's
now. It might be. You never know. But
You never know.
Right. Oh, we're on. And now we're on Facebook. So there was some kind of glitch. That tells me it is StreamYard, that sometimes if that link's just not right, or I know it could be any of us, whether it's me or any of the guests, if there's one little thing that doesn't go right, it will disconnect. Because we showed up, but I couldn't hear any of you guys. So all right. Yeah, Sherry Radu, if you can go ahead and come in if you want. Since our primary eyewitness is John Stewart here, Derek Grimm, my apologies. If you could hold off. And Cheryl Green was on the show as well. If you could hold off. Hold on a second. Yeah, I don't want to lose you, John. You got to be our primary. So Sherry was good before. I'm worried about maybe Derek's connection. But Derek, if you can hold on, we'll bring you back. Derek has got some crazy stuff going on in Idaho, John. They're having UFO sightings. His son's seeing something. Derek Derek just posted something to us. I'll hold it up on screen here. Some kind of something flying through the air. See if I can find it here. And then we're going to get on with you, my friend. So good to be on the show. We've been on Facebook, and I can already tell you're a brother from another mother. You know what I mean?
I get you, man. I get you.
All right, let's see here. I'm trying to find Derek. Okay, hold on.
We're good. You're good.
All right, cool. Yeah, I lost his video too, so we're gonna have to bring Derek back on. Next week or something. All right, let's get to John. John, welcome to the Bigfoot of America podcast show.
Thank you.
I'm Brian Sawyer. It's nice to meet you, my friend. Everybody's got their own story, John, right? And
very true.
Yeah, and like we're talking in the green room, you were very polite and you're like, hey, can I mention some friends that have been helping out? And I'm like, yeah. Here on our show, no, we're open doors. We accept everybody. And we want to hear what kind of eyewitness encounter you've had. I don't want you coming on my show and then telling you, oh, here's what I think happened to you, John. No. Everybody has their own experiences with these creatures. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and jump into it. We want to hear from you, how you got started. I don't care if you go way back to your childhood, because I had some crazy encounters when I was just a kid. And I think that set me up for believing in Bigfoot. And then, John, I don't know if you know, I've had a fairy sighting. Everybody at home has heard this a million times, but I didn't believe in fairies. And all of a sudden, there was a fairy right in front of my face. And so I had to reconcile that. in my life, like, holy crap, if fairies exist, what else is out there? So, John, we're going to go ahead, turn to you. How'd you get started? And man, yeah, tell us about your encounters. Go for it.
I I was about 8 the first time I ever heard about Bigfoot. I lived in Maryland, and out in California in Washington State, I was like, well, at 8 years old, who knows? You know, what are they seeing? They're seeing bear. I'm thinking, you know, so I didn't think much of it. So fast forward, uh, 2000, I think. Yeah, he did a video. Dave Shealy down South Florida, and we moved to Florida in '75. So I've been down here for a while, and I heard about his sighting, and I was like, "Wow, there's a skunk ape. They call it skunk ape in the South Florida." So that was really weird. But again, you know, I just couldn't grasp that. I didn't believe in it, to be
Right.
honest. So, um, so here's my first sighting. Um, January 4th, which is on a Saturday, 2003. Saturday morning, early Saturday morning. Um, I was working at a magazine company, Time Magazine in Tampa. And I had worked for a few more hours because it was a time sensitive, you know, thing. So anyway, I got done with that episode, got gas, and I was going down Fowler, if anybody knows, from Tampa, go down Fowler to 301. That's because at the time I lived in Zephyr Hills. So about a 45-minute drive from where I work. So about the time I got on 301, I didn't even need headlights. It was 7-ish o'clock in the morning. Sun wasn't up, but it was bright out. Beautiful morning. And I was messing with my radio, going up 301, headed home. Looking for a good song. And out of my peripheral left vision, I seen a movement. And right away, I'm thinking deer, car, something's pulling out of that road. There was a road to my left. So I'm hitting the brakes because I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm going to get in an accident in that half a second. Well, when I slowed down, I looked to my left and there was a creature in the ditch line. Couldn't see his feet because in a ditch. But his head was level with mine, and I'm in a 2000 Ford Ranger at the time, and he was staring right at me, didn't take his eyes off me, and I didn't take
Wow.
my eyes off of it. And very, very muscular, very muscular. I seen his chest muscles. Wasn't a lot of hair on his chest. Wasn't a lot of hair on his stomach, but on his sides, because I didn't see his back side. On his arms, legs, yes, a lot of hair, and it just stood still, didn't move. It was like frozen. And what I got of it, I think back because it's seared in my vision. It is, what do you do with that?
Yeah. What color was it? And then you said you looked kind of right into. Were you close enough to see the eye color?
Gosh, yeah. It was in a ditch line. So I'm looking. I was going north, so I had a lane beside me, going a southbound lane, and then he was in a ditch line, some 20, 25 feet away in daylight, early morning daylight. The thing of it is, that's why I call it, for years, I called it a creature. I didn't know what it was. You know, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Sabe never came to mind at all. The thing of it was white.
Oh
I mean,
man.
yeah.
Man, I'm sorry. Hey everybody, thanks for coming in. Sherry, Derek, Cheryl. I think I can hear everybody. Derek, can I hear you real quick?
Yes. Yep. Yep. You
Yeah.
got
Hey
me.
Cheryl. Yeah, I can hear you, Derek. All right. Cheryl Green, can I hear you?
You can hear me.
Hey, good. All right, good to have you on. We got the glitch worked out. Back to
Right.
John. John, I gotta admit, we've had it. One of my eyewitnesses told me about a Bigfoot sighting of a white one, you know, but in my mind, that correlates more with winter and all this kind of stuff. But you're
Yeah.
in Florida and you just saw a white Sasquatch, white Sabe. Okay, pick it back up.
So, and that's weird enough. That's what I'm saying. What do you do with that? I mean, you're seeing a creature that doesn't exist in your mind. In my mind, I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. Well, when I hit my brakes, let me slow down here. I'm going, very slow. This encounter lasted 4 to 5 seconds because I'm on the highway and I look forward because I'm freaked out. My mind's trying to rationalize this. And there was no traffic coming. It was a Saturday morning, January 4th, in '03. So
Okay.
but the thing of it is, this creature had a red face. Yeah. Everybody I talk to that have nothing to do with, they don't believe in Bigfoot, the first thing that comes to their mind is, it's a demon. No, it's not a demon. It's not. It's not because I looked in his eyes, this thing's eyes, this Sasquatch. And I didn't get it's not ill intent. Like I said, it was a bodybuilder. It could have ran over to my little Ranger and flipped my Ranger. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
Not even joking. This thing was huge, muscle, bulky. And I could see his left hand, because it was like the Patty film, the freeze frame of her mid stance walking. The left hand I could see was dark gray, dark gray, big hand, bulky hand, and it was just frozen in time for a moment. But yeah, it's just. But what I got out of the look at his face, it was like he was just as surprised to see me as I was what I got out of it. Very strange, very. And but anyway, like I was saying, I looked forward because I'm on the highway. I don't want to get a head-on collision, and I looked in my rear view mirror. Nobody's around. So this is the first weekend, I guess, after New Year's. So I guess everybody's resting. But when I looked over, I was only going, I don't know, 10, 12 miles an hour or whatever. And I looked back over to see this thing, and it only took a second. What I just said. When I looked over, it was gone. I looked in my rear view mirror again, and I seen some bushes behind me on my right side moving. I did not see him again, but he took off over there very fast.
So he crossed
Somebody went,
behind you. As you passed, he crossed behind you, you think?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. Seen the bushes move. So somebody in a costume, no way. You're never ever going to convince me of that. So, yeah, it's a woodsy swamp area. This is, I'll go ahead and say this. It's relatively area is Hillsborough State Park, on 301, near there.
Okay.
So,
And I don't
again,
know. I don't
I
know
don't want
the
to freak
area,
anybody.
John.
What's that?
I don't know the area, John. Is that near the Everglades at all?
No, this
Okay,
is
so no correlation to all that.
this is Central Florida near Tampa.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, it was it baffled me. I was, through the years, it took me over 19, almost 20 years to tell anybody else. The first thing I did that day, though, I went to my sister's house, pulled up in the driveway, and I don't remember driving after that, which is weird. I don't remember. I'm sure I was freaked out. I mean, I'm just, my mind's spinning. Anyway, my sister, she's getting ready. She worked, she was a mail lady, and she was getting up that morning to do the mail, luckily. And I walked in, hey, and she looked at my face, and the first thing she said, "What's going on? What's wrong?" Because I didn't know. I mean, my mind's trying to comprehend this.
Right.
So I told her, I said, "Sis, I seen a creature. On the way up here, I seen a creature, and it was white with a red face." And, and she's looking at me and shaking her head. No, like she's not believing this. And I was like, I'm telling you, I'm just telling you. So I wanted to tell somebody,
Yeah, and I
but
think
yeah,
the red face is what stands out to me. That contrast between the white hair and the red face. Hey, to the rest of my co-hosts, what are your thoughts, man? A white Sasquatch with a red face. I've never. And what color were the eyes again?
the eyes were very big. That's the thing. The only thing that moved was his eyes, because I could see the whites of his eyes, but the eyes were like, for a 7-8 foot creature, probably if you could put a horse's eyes, big eyes,
Okay,
all black. It
gotcha.
had no color, but whites on
Okay,
the outside, and then that's what moved and followed me.
and very
So
muscular. Did it have? Was it the cliche no neck?
very little. I mean, I could see a little definition below the head, but not much. It was just
Okay,
really, really muscular.
okay.
Yeah.
And
Um,
You
yeah. Go ahead.
Brian, you just asked about the other faces that we saw. The sand colored one that I saw was the skin color, a normal human skin color. It was not black like the other ones I see. But that had been the
Okay,
only sand colored Bigfoot that I'd saw. That one
okay.
had the tan clear face. Other ones were black.
See, that's amazing too, because the picture I got of Scout over here, he's like the Patterson Gimlin Patty, John. I'll show you that picture later.
Yeah.
He's got black skin. So we've got black skin, and I think that maybe is the most prominent.
Yeah.
But then then Cheryl Green, you've got the tan, and man, Derek and Sherry, man, what are your thoughts on this? Gosh.
Well,
I'm,
to John, I understand what you're saying is like, what happens after you see this thing? And this is what I'm trying to get to you, Brian. It's like, do you really want to see this thing? Because I was only 20. I was only like 21 at the time when I seen mine, and I know it totally changed my life. I mean, I don't know where I'd be. I mean, I don't know where I'd be if I did a lot of things. If I didn't do them, or if I seen something, or if I didn't do something. But far as my first witness was a it wasn't brown and it wasn't black, it wasn't red, but it was more like grizzed. Maybe a middle aged guy, kind of like myself. Uh, he was getting whitish, grayish. It was a dirty white, of course. And John, the question, like his red face, are you talking like maybe he's kind of albino-ish to where he had no pigment in his face, or is it just red?
No, it was red.
Wow.
So his
Red.
pigment was his skin was red.
Yeah, it was the definition was just it wasn't no variance. It was just all red. It had no facial hair. The hair was up under the chin, and it was like almost parted at the top, but like short hair. I guess his hair was like 3 to 4 inches long. I'm assuming, but yeah, very very muscular. And then
And
I
also
did.
and like about your eyes, the eyes that you've seen, very very much similar here. I did send a picture, I think, on the podcast about the skunk ape, and the eyeballs that are on that. I mean, they're actually glowing back at you like yellow. Those are like the only eyes that I've seen on anywhere on the web that are what I've seen at night, in especially that space in between them. And I don't know if I've been close enough in the daytime to see the black eyes, but as far as I feel, I think they are just jet black. I mean, I think they can look like right through you. But yeah, I would like to see them. At night, like I said, that skunk ape picture, it has a very chilling remembrance in my mind about that. But yeah, it does screw with you, doesn't it, man? Yeah. It
Wow.
definitely changes your path.
Yes.
Hey guys, let me check in with the folks at home real quick on YouTube. We have Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot says, "Good evening, everyone. Evening, good people," is what he says, and then he says, or White Elder, very interesting. Christine 1921 Murphy says Harrison Woods here in mid Michigan. Thank you for sharing your encounter, John. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot then says may have been an albino, white hair, red face. Maybe this. Now I totally believe you, John, but I am like I'm Rolodexing. Like, what? Yeah, was it an albino? Maybe its skin was heated up from the sun. I don't know.
No.
But I love this story. You want to know why, John? Everybody, it seems to be when you start thinking that you're starting to understand Sasquatch and Sabe, then you get a curveball like this, and that's why we always say there are no experts out there. Every
There
time
is
you think
not.
you know what you're, yeah.
There
Every
is
time you
not.
think you know what you're talking about, something like this happens.
How do you
How long ago did this happen? How
how
long
would
ago did this
you
happen?
this was I didn't say it's
2003.
I didn't hear anyway.
oh,
03,
I'm
okay.
sorry. Yeah,
Yeah, oh 03.
The morning of January 4th, 03, which is a Saturday, and the Monday, because it was time sensitive stuff I had to do, was the 6th. So yeah, that's the only reason I know the date.
Wow. Tennessee,
Yeah.
Kentucky Bigfoot says something that I've never personally heard before. He said the animal most famously known for a bright red face with white hair, actually shaggy fur, is the white bald-headed Uakari, a rare primate native to the Amazon rainforest. So, hey, man, there could be some DNA attributes to that then.
Well,
Robin M.
if it's like 400 or 500 pounds and long white hair, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to look it up. He says, look it up. We'll definitely do that. Christine says, get in touch with Sibylla Irvin at Sketching Encounters. She'll draw whatever it is that you describe. So so Christine is saying there's a sketch artist out there, John, that she's really
Yes.
good at drawing what you've seen. So that's very
Yes,
cool.
I do. I do have a sketch artist. He's known pretty much worldwide that is going to do, it's been a while, but he is going to do a sketch of nearly, I think he said half size of the my experience. And that's one experience. I had two experiences actually.
Oh,
So
fantastic. All right. Let me say hello to a couple of people. Jason Finch says, hello, Derek. Good morning, everyone. Nora Scott says, what a sighting. Completely awesome. Author George Lunsford is chiming in. He says, hey, everyone. And that's on YouTube. We'll now look at Facebook, trying to keep up with everybody.
oh yeah.
And then we'll let you go ahead with your other encounter. All right. All right. Brenda Goodwin says hello. Robin Martin says greetings on the Facebook feed panel
Reading.
and chat. Glad it's all working. So I think everybody, to my co-hosts, and John, of course, you're welcome to be on anytime. I think with StreamYard, I have to start the live stream, actually start the show, and then have people come in because it just seems like that works every time. And when we try to get people in the green room lined up before I press record, that seems to be the problem. So we'll remember that in the future, everyone. Tracy Lynn says hello. Dennis Dean says hello. He says there was a sighting. Dennis Dean used to live down the street from me in the Thumb of Michigan, John. And in the Thumb of Michigan, we have seen every color here from all the eyewitness encounters. And
Oh
Dennis
wow.
Dean says he said there was a sighting of an old white Bigfoot that has been documented near Lexington, Michigan, which is right on Lake
Yes.
Huron.
Yes.
Wow.
I read about that. I did read
Wow.
about that. Yes. Because I was
Fantastic.
just fascinated since I think YouTube started like, I don't know, 2015 or something. I started getting whatever it was. I started getting on to different podcasts and I wanted to know the white creature, and everything come up. Because like I said, telling you the truth, I didn't know what it was. So everything came up like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Sabe. So I'm reading, and that's one of them. The white, yeah, up
Wow.
there, yeah. There's
Wow.
one
There's an
there's Alabama. I read
yes.
about. There's one
White Fang?
Mississippi. What's that?
Is it White Fang in Alabama? A guy was telling me about that. Walked in front of his car. Its
Yeah.
hip was at the roof of his Honda Accord.
Yes. Yeah.
Man,
Yep.
that's crazy. All right,
It
John, all
is.
you. Let's hear your other encounter, my man.
So the second one is the week before Thanksgiving in 2016. I was headed over to Lake Hatchinall. Same scenario. I was in a vehicle, very, very foggy that morning. So I had all this stuff. I was going to help a buddy with his father's houseboat and do some fiberglass. And so I wanted to get over there early. So I left like at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's about an hour east of here. So, well, about 5:30, because it was the same scenario. It's like early morning, the light was just coming up. But anyway, if anybody knows Lake Hatchinall, I can say it right. It's weird Indian name, but it was very foggy. In the fog, at the time I had an SUV. The fog was on right at the top of the front of my SUV on the hood. So I had the low beams, and as I come on the last couple of miles, it's a long stretch, but it comes up on a hill where some houses and a county park is. I've been on this road 100 times before, and when I looked, there was something dead in the middle of the road, about 3/4 of a mile ahead, and I'm like, what is that? I don't remember what it looked like. Was a cypress tree, straight cypress tree at the time. So I go back in the fog. I go down the hill, and here I'm in the fog again, and I'm looking at this, whatever it is. It's just standing there. Well, I say standing. I thought it was something tree or something. I'm like, what in the world? So I'm slowing up. As I'm getting closer. At the time, I hit my bright lights. I was probably maybe less than a quarter mile away because I started thinking it was an accident. Okay, in my mind, okay, it was a truck, log truck got an accident in my mind because I'm like, what in the world is that? And it was light tan to medium tan, a very tall thing. When I hit the bright lights, it ducked down and shot from my right to the left into a cow field yeah. So
Wow.
yeah. And let me tell you, the fog was about 4 feet on my truck hood. The fog on this thing, which I think was a skunk, I don't know. Skunk apes shouldn't be that tall, but I don't know what it was. It was on its knees, at his knees, at 4 foot.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I didn't know what to do because I'm freaking out again. And
Was it
Ross,
super fast when it shot from
yeah,
left to right? Super fast.
very, very fast, very fast, like unbelievable. You can't. But I rolled up my windows and I'm like, I got to go that direction. I'm not waiting. Slow down. Yes, I slowed down. I put my low beams on because you can see better with low beams. I didn't want to get near this creature. It was huge. At least, and everybody told me they're shaking their head. I've been on podcasts where even the host was shaking their head. No, this was 10 to 12 feet tall.
I believe you. I believe you.
Because at the knees, that's where the fog was. He dumped down into all fours and shot off to the left. There's barbed
Whoa.
wire. There's hog wire and barbed wire on the top of the hog wire. And yeah, there was. I looked the next day. Of course, I wanted to check it out and see if it's any hair or any. There was no hair. I couldn't find any hair, and there was the hog wire and the barbed wire was fine. So that was really weird.
John,
I'll get hit with all that.
no, I totally believe you. We've got a sighting by two separate eyewitnesses here by the Cass River, just outside of Cass City, Michigan. In fact, it's in the commercial I just re-released, where around 12 to 14 foot. And seeing the same type of creature, like this one looked like an NBA player. Both of the eyewitnesses who don't know each other, who've seen this at different times, just a few miles apart, both said it was long and lanky, but somewhere between 12 and 14 feet tall is what we're coming up with. So I
Yeah.
totally believe you. Now, I want to go back to something, and maybe the rest of the panel can chime into this. Because I've only seen a Sasquatch. I've seen the Sasquatch through my thermal. And then I was able to get a picture off of one after it grunted at me. But their facial expressions, you said on the first one, the white one with the red-faced eyes, that it only its eyes moved. And I know they will stand really still, so hopefully you'll drive by. But
Yeah.
I'm also starting to hear a lot that like their face is not too expressive. It's just kind of there. Have you guys heard that before?
Yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me get into a little more detail for the first one because I was a little bit, but it had a red face, but it had a flat nose like a human, flat nose, wide mouth, very wide mouth. Didn't smile, didn't move its lips, but lips weren't pronounced at all. It wasn't poking out like you see an ape jaw. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but the protruding wasn't that. It had a more human face
Okay.
than anything. A very large eyes. Yeah, no facial hair, which is bizarre to me.
And that
But
sounds like some of the sketches. David Pilates or Pilatus in the Hoopa Project book. They've got some sketches there. Harvey, I forget Harvey. He's a forensic artist, but it sounds like some of the sketches he's drawn. Yeah, that flat, wide nose, wide mouth.
yep, yep.
Wow, super cool.
So I can go into more experiences that I had
Yeah,
at
go
later
for it,
days.
man.
So
Definitely.
in either 2017 or 2018, I'm not sure, but summertime, I was riding a mountain bike in a county park. And I don't want to mention the park, because I don't want anybody to be scared of going out. You go out, it's safe. If anybody's in this chat room or in this podcast watching, don't be scared. Please don't be scared. And if you see one, tell somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Tell a group, get it out, because I'm telling you, it took well almost 20 years for me to tell somebody else other than my family member. I told two family members
Wow.
within a week or two, and I got negative response. So I'm like, I'm not telling anybody, but it's to me, doing this right here is like therapy. It absolutely is like therapy. It makes me feel great, because I can tell my story without judgment. And the comments, that rolls off my back, because I know what I don't know what it was, but I know I seen something that I can't explain. So, and if they didn't, that's good. That's fine. I wish I actually didn't see something and I wouldn't have to deal with it. But all in all, hindsight, this is great. I met the greatest people telling my stories and hearing their stories in the Bigfoot community. It is absolutely amazing. Amazing.
Well,
So
it's nice, John. It's nice, John, to be qualified. You know, it gives you the recognition that you're not.
I
For
lost her.
sure.
Can I hear? I didn't catch everything she said.
Well, it's
Say
nice
again,
to feel
Sherry.
validated, John, because
Okay.
this is why Brian created this forum, for all of us to share our stories, to bring forth questions and learn from each other and share whatever we can with each other, because it's like you said, you can't tell everybody about everything and have them believe it. But it's nice
I
to be
got
validated and qualified for.
yeah. I got one person at work that just absolutely don't want to believe me, and that's fine. I mean, before '03, I would be the same way. I mean, to be honest, but because it just didn't exist to me. It's just hard. How do you wrap your mind around a creature that is out in the woods or in the swamps, and it's 400 to 800 pounds, maybe more. I don't know. And living out there, and I hear this a lot. Why haven't we caught one? Why haven't we got a clear picture? Number one, the thing I learned is it will affect it. This creature is not just flesh and blood. It will affect your cameras. It has mine. It has props of Mid Florida Bigfoot Research. It affected many of their cameras, their phones. It just does. Oh, they're all blurry. They're all blurry. It's all fake. No, it's not. No, it's not fake at all. But just open your mind. If anybody's on the fence line out there, please just open your mind and be considerate of people that have seen. That's what I want. Really, what I want to get the message out. just be considerate of people that have, because it can be hurtful. I'm good. I mean, you could talk whatever y'all want to talk about, the non-believers, but I know, yeah, so I'm good. And I got so much positivity with Mid Florida Bigfoot and other groups. I went camp outs with them. I go to the conference and I meet other people that either believe or the knowers.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm a knower
Yes.
because I
Amen, brother.
I know the creature. Yes. And you can laugh. That's good. I still love you. I don't hate you for laughing
John,
at me.
John, I want to
Yes.
mention something to you. Now, I'm over 60. I've moved to the UP. Guys up there rule. Women don't know what they're talking about. It took me the longest time to have people quit laughing at me because I had experienced Bigfoot both down here and up there.
Oh wow.
And once I started putting a backbone to it, there were so many hunters that had the deer camps out there that decided they had nerve enough to start admitting it.
Yes.
And I took a lot
Yeah.
of criticism, and I still do, but I do not care because I know what I know. And
Yeah.
so
Well,
by me opening up, it's opened other people up.
yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It took almost 20, well, almost to the day, 19 and a half years, almost to the day. And because it was going back and forth in my head. Okay, did you see something? Or did you see something? I'm like, I know I did. I just know. I
Right.
mean, it
Right.
was there. It was there. And then I seen a second thing. It was like, okay, let me back up. In my religion, I'm a Christian, love God very much, and that's anybody else that's I'm sorry if I offend somebody, but I do. And in my mind, it was meant to be. In
There
my
you go.
mind. So it was a
I
reason for it. And I could go further, but it's so much. There's so many rabbit holes that you're going to go down once you start telling your story and you're looking at other videos and other podcasts and hearing people's stories. There is so many rabbit holes you're going to go down that you're just your mind's going to be spinning. My head was spinning for like not 5 years, about 3.5 years after I
right.
started telling my story, because I heard, and then this happened to me. That's what I was getting ready to get into. This happened. Well, wait a minute. This happened to me. That happened to them. Well, wait a minute. I was here, and I mean,
Yeah.
this goes on and on and on. It doesn't stop. I love it now. I accept it now, and it's great.
Fantastic. I mean, what you're in good company. Sherry Redu, she didn't necessarily believe in them, and then suddenly it happened to her. Derek, I don't think you were a believer, and then all of a sudden you're getting surrounded at your camp, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I didn't disbelieve it, nor did I really believe it. But I read a lot of books, and I guess with the time I was spending in the woods, it's either going to happen or not.
Yeah. And Cheryl Green, I'm trying to sum it up. Your first encounter. Now, Cheryl Green has had just a lifelong experience with Sasquatch, even coming to her rescue at times. Was it when you were a
Wow.
child? Were those the first encounters?
The first encounters were back in the late 60s in Kent County, which is kind of the middle part of Michigan. There we had two clans. And that was my first experience. And then when I started went up to the UP, that's when I started really encountering the different Bigfoots on the national forest when we'd fish. He'd set and protect the women, watch us, and we'd be safe there without having the people coming around because guy did harass women and we was out by the prison. Then the ones were closer to home, I had three groups of them. It was eye opening because they were not all the same. And that sandy colored one that I saw, always see him by the road, sitting along by a tree watching traffic. That was his main thing to do. As long as you knew where to look, you'd see him. The one that went fishing and would come out and play in the water when I'd be by myself, that one, to this day, I could find him. But I'm not going to say where because he is too old. He's getting really old. but he's there. I don't know what the life expectancy is on these things, but you do see them age over time.
Okay. How many, John, down there in Florida? It seems like here in Michigan, and we've got to touch on Derek as well for a few minutes. He's had some UFO sightings out there in Idaho, but here in Michigan, we know it all has to do with the water. Gee, down there, I would assume there's so much to eat down there for Sasquatch. But to your knowledge, so right off the bat, both of your sightings, you got two different creatures. Not that we'll ever know how many different types of Sasquatch there are, but what do you think's going on down there in Florida? Like with different types of, like, I was surprised. I was under the impression the skunk ape was maybe leaner and longer hair in the trees more, but then you're telling us the big white one you saw was all muscular and everything. So what are your thoughts on that? The different types of Sasquatch in Florida?
I believe mid Florida and up to North Florida, you're going to more likely to see the Bigfoot, the common Bigfoot, beings if he's brown, black, or white or gray, because I've heard that before. But more in the swamps, boy, Dave Shealy's got some stories down there. He has a few casts that are not 5 toes; they're 4 toes, and they're longer toes, like for gripping. So for like mango trees, it would fit right in. Absolutely, yeah, it works. And they're more down south. They're more reddish.
Okay.
Yeah, they're more red color.
No, this is good stuff because I was on the NCI show last night. Man, I love them guys, but we had a guest by the name of Nick Valente from the International Dogman Project. I'm going to have him on the show shortly. Now,
Cool.
here's what blew my mind because his numbers in population numbers is how I think there are. I've heard the rumors out there or the sayings out there, that there's probably as many Bigfoot as there are bear, so to speak. Well, with all I found here in Michigan and even in the thumb of alone, I believe here in Michigan, hey, maybe there's not tens of thousands of Bigfoot, but probably thousands. And Nick was saying on the show last night, and I agree with his numbers. He feels in North America, there's probably around, and we don't know for sure, but like 200,000 Sasquatch. And then maybe, and this was scary, maybe 100,000 dogmen. So if you compile all the information, that blew my mind. Now, it's like I agree with those numbers, but it still blows my mind. And then going back to you, John, even just saying that, well, yeah, in the northern part of the state, we got the more, Patterson Gimlin type. But and then I'm like, well, there you go. There's more data that these things are, they're not just one per every state.
Yeah. There's Jeff Meldrum. Unfortunately, he passed away.
Right.
But
right.
he had so much. He was so involved in this. He did a study in just in Florida between the DNA analysis that they could find, hair samples, footprint cast. And he did. It was years before. I could be wrong, but I think it was like 5 to 7 years he did a study, and just in Florida, and that was back 2017 or 2018. He believed there is minimum of 368 Sasquatch, skunk ape type creatures in Florida that they know of, and he's very detailed. So it's probably it might be twice as much. I don't know. So
See, And then too, John, you brought up an interesting aspect because I'm a Christian as well, and like when I had my fairy sighting, and then it's like it's not that I always believed in Bigfoot. It's like I never really didn't believe in Bigfoot. It's just that I had seen In Search Of, and we just needed more information. So then when you throw Christianity or religion into the mix, you go, okay, wait a minute. I just saw a fairy. I just saw a Bigfoot. How does that correlate with the Bible we know here in Western civilization? And then you got to come to the realization is that, look, nobody knows everything. And just because, okay, there's a couple of verses you could connect with Sasquatch.
Little bit.
That doesn't mean they don't exist, is what I'm getting at. They're
Right.
just another type of God's creation. Is for me as a Christian is the box I got to put it in. It's just another type of God's creation, which even could be a human hybrid, which I hadn't fully understood yet. And that's partly just because you grew up in the city. I grew up in the suburbs of Detroit. So you're unfamiliar with things that are living out in the woods.
Absolutely. So, in that question, if you read the King James Version of the Bible, God created everything. God created even hell. He created hell. Yeah. So, what do you think? Yeah, he created everything. He created creatures. He allows stuff to be created for a reason. I can't answer that, nor can anybody else answer that. It's up to God. But yes, he did create for a reason. We don't know until the time is going to be present when he comes back, when his son comes back. So
good point. I just surmise it that my umbrella of knowledge, the things I knew were under a very small umbrella, and that umbrella just had to increase in size. And I just had to go, okay, that's why you don't judge other people. That's why you don't troll people. That's why you just, and that's why here, at least on our show, and I think everybody agrees that we want to hear what happened to our eyewitnesses, how it happened to them. I don't want to hear somebody's story and then tell them what happened. Well, what you saw was this, that. No, you tell us what you saw, and we're going to take it at face value. So good stuff, man. We got a lot. Thanks for everybody chiming in on Facebook and YouTube. And hey, Derek, man, what you said, you said something earlier that just made me laugh. Well, what the heck is going on in crazy Idaho right now, man?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. It's not every day, you can go out and see a UFO or something up in the sky that you can identify. But it seems like it's been happening here the past couple months. So, it's in the family, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's born into my boy and myself. And even I talk with a person about this or that, and they go, "Oh God, there's some security camera just filmed something in Lewiston, a couple days ago." So I'm like, "Oh my God." So
let's touch on your son James. So not for John and everybody at home, if you haven't heard this, a couple of weeks ago, Derek started sending me pictures of like these fireballs. And what's crazy about it is it seems like they almost started off in Idaho, but then Sherry, they ended up being sighted in Ohio as well, right? And they thought that maybe was why we had a flap or a big explosion of Sasquatch movement. But yeah, so suddenly everybody's seeing fireballs. This is in Idaho, and then your son James saw them too?
Yep. Yeah. And he was just traveling back to Lewiston from Moscow, Idaho, and looking off to the west, it just caught his eye. There's like two things that were brighter than the sunset itself, and they were, of course, back of the sunset, and which is really weird. You think that if you're looking at them with the sunset on top of them, you would see that a bright reflection of something, but this is in the shadow side of them, and they're brighter than the sunset itself. So and then you zoom up on one of them, and now you see like the kind of looks like a tugboat kind of tank looking outline of one of them, and it's pretty cool. And he was traveling 80 miles per hour, and he got what he could of pictures, and but anyone can probably play with them, zoom up on them and whatnot. They are on the website. Yeah, and it's just kind of remarkable that it happened to him, and it's just like it kind of happened to me. So
Right,
yeah,
right. I got the pictures. I'm holding them up right
yeah,
now. There's two fireballs next to each other, or just spaced a little bit apart. And I'm looking for that video that you just sent of some kind of object going through the sky. It was at
yeah,
nighttime.
yeah.
What do you remember? What area of Idaho that was?
That was right here in my town.
Okay. Wow. So, I hate to say this, guys, but I'm going to throw out my Bible verse that I always use, Luke 21:11. Hey, in the last days, you will see fearful sights. That's the original Greek of phobotron, which actually means monsters. Sorry, Bigfoot. That's just old language. We know you're Bigfoot, you're Sasquatch, Sabe. And then also things coming from the heavens. So as far as I'm concerned, Jesus could have said, hey, in the last days, you'll see Sasquatch and you'll see some UFOs activity going on. So I do, for me, that helps settle like my Christianity and a couple other verses to kind of settle me. And really, man, yeah, nobody's an expert. And we don't want to come at people. We don't want to troll them. I think of Cheryl Green's a prime example of all the encounters she's had with the different Sasquatch and then being connected with them. You know, there really is, not to get off on a tangent, I think there's a difference between when men see Sasquatch and women see Sasquatch. I think Sasquatch are not as threatened by women. And that's why Cheryl Green's been so fortunate to have a lifelong kind of relationship and history of sightings and encounters with them.
If I may make a comment now, I bring this up every so often, especially with the groups I'm in. And the people out there listening to us, please do not give explicit locations of where these things are found, seen, or whatever, because there is danger to them. People do want to shoot them. We want to save them. We want to protect them. They protect you. Do not give an explicit location, please, because we want to save them. They're friendly. They're nice.
Yes,
And
thank you for
they
that.
do want to protect women and children. They love to watch women and children because we are
Yep.
not a threat to them.
Yes,
So yes,
thank you very much
that's
for
my
that.
time.
And let me add
Thank you
something too.
very much.
If people are like, gosh, dang, I wish I could find something. I wish I could see something. Or how come they're all so lucky? My advice to everyone out there is, if you want to see something, look for it, and you'll find it.
I think
Well, they're out there. They're watching you. They know you're there. They just don't want you to see them until they want it to be. They're out there.
If you go out there and you have an open heart and mind and a loving heart, they're more likely to show themselves, because I do.
Right.
So
No, good
absolutely.
stuff. Didn't mean to cut you off. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot, they're saying that as well. They're saying that they don't think that they show themselves to close-minded people. Well said. What's so said?
Exactly. Yes. Very well said. Yes. 100%.
Also, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot says common thing he hears is that dogmen have the 3 front toes. I would agree with that from everything I've heard. And Bigfoot have both the 5 and the 6 toes.
Yeah.
Yes, and Christine Murphy is pointing out, yes, Val Savala, I've interviewed him on his show. I've been on his show. He's been on mine. He has a history of documented sightings. Val Savala has posted about different sightings in Michigan counties all over Michigan. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot says Genesis 25:25, and the first came out with red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. See, there's so much stuff that, and I made this statement on the last couple of shows I've been on. it just
Yeah.
kind of came to my mind like, you know what? Once America kind of got formed, we became an industrialized nation, manufacturing. So people were leaving the forest, leaving the farm fields, pouring into the cities to manufacture all sorts of different things. And I think not that this is knowledge that's been lost, it's knowledge that's been forgotten. And now with encounters like Sherry Redu has had, where her Sabe even wanted to share part of its life story with Sherry, how deep that message was, you realize, wow, these are very deep creatures. They have their own families, they have their own structure of clans and societies. And I think it's just knowledge that we have forgotten, man. And now we're learning more about it. Hey, Derek, I think you already said it, but Robin M444 wants to know what general part of Ohio, Derek. I think you said it. What was it?
Of Ohio.
Of Idaho. Sorry.
All right. General part of the sightings. Well, the one that my boy and I seen, or the one my boys seen, they were probably on the border of Washington and Idaho, I would think, and they're flying south. And mine was in central Idaho, in the Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness, and from 14 miles away, and it was a pretty large ship. I would agree.
Wow.
And
Fantastic.
you can see all those pictures on our website. So I do believe I have them all on there. So.
Awesome. Vera Wadu 2555 says they are learning, but definitely believe. And they said they know you, John.
Yes.
Okay. And then there's somebody else who I've never seen before. And he says, we believe you, brother. It is, I don't even know if I can say this whole name, but Pekilai Tuna Akava Dra.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's another coworker.
Fantastic. No,
And,
awesome.
yeah,
Tell him.
Wade and him. Yeah, they come in, love them. They're great people.
Good
Told
people, man.
them my story, and they're very receptive to that. So, and I told them the truth. I'm not lying about this. I seen what I seen. So, and they absolutely believe. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to end it on Nora Scott's statement here. Nora 5346. She says to you, John, that you will not get any persecution from this group. Best to you. And that's it here at the Bigfoot of America podcast show. It's about opening up our doors, understanding these creatures more, not being experts, and then just kind of embracing everybody's information that they have to pour in, being open-minded, and basically listening. So you can catch the Bigfoots of America podcast show. We're now on Spreaker.com. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the social media platforms. We are growing, and we're growing only to help this to be, like I said, an open door for people to share their stories. And as the owner and CEO, one of the things I want to keep doing is pointing back to the John Stewarts, to the Sherry Redus, to the Cheryl Greens, the Derek Grimms, all of you that have had encounters out there. We just want to help you share your story. And thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll be back next week with episode, we're getting up there. Sherry, man, we're going to be at 77 episodes next week. So big shout out to everyone who watches us. And we're just praying for you that you all have a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you next time.
Be safe. Love you guys.
Hey,
Love you,
hold on
buddy.
a second. John
Wait.
Stewart, where can people follow you? I almost forgot.
Yeah.
The best way, if anybody wants to contact me, go to Mid Florida Bigfoot Research. They all have my phone number, my email. So get a hold of them. And the reason I do it this way, they'll weed the craziness out. I'll just say that.
Okay, I'm going to say one thing, Brian. From all of
Go
us
ahead.
to you, thank you for having this program and the way you're opening up other people's minds. It wouldn't happen if it wasn't for you being a beginner. So thank you very much for doing that.
Hey,
Oh,
amen.
no. Thank you. And thank you, Sherry and Cheryl Green, especially Cheryl Green from the beginning, having patience with me because I had come in with the L.A. Marzulli. Oh, they're all going to eat us. They're all going to eat us. And and I've had to really, my fairy sighting opened me up to kind of shut my mouth more and just to listen to people. So thank you very much, everyone. And we'll see you next week right here on the Bigfoots of America podcast show. Peace.